It's Monday, December 17th, 2007, and you're watching The Ointment. I'm Steve Tatham, your host, and you know what day today is? The 104th anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight. And it was great back then because there were only two of them, so nobody had a middle seat. Our top story, the nation of Turkey has dropped bombs on northern Iraq. And thank God the United States is still an inspiration to the rest of the world. Speaking of the war in Iraq, a new investigation reveals that the don't ask, don't tell policy is not enforced during times of war. And by don't ask, don't tell, I mean don't ask the taxpayers and don't tell the taxpayers. And speaking of the United States military, a new bill is making its way through the halls of the United States Congress that would outlaw slot machines on military bases. But just because they're going to outlaw those slot machines doesn't mean they're going to stop, when it comes to military policy, making those big gambles that just don't seem to pay off. The Pentagon needs a new pair of shoes. Turning to the presidential election of 2008, Mike Huckabee, the Republican from Arkansas, is gaining in popularity, and as a result, he's having to answer more questions. Questions like, hey Mike, how come you said you had a theology degree when in fact you don't? Well, the good news for Huckabee, when he loses the presidency, he can still put it on his resume. Now, Mike Huckabee is running against Ron Paul and many others. Ron Paul, running in 6th place currently, had a big fundraising drive yesterday where he raised millions of dollars, bursting the one-day fundraising record of Ron Paul. He called this his money bomb. Now, I'm thinking when you run in 6th place, maybe bomb isn't the phrase you want to be associated with. Another one of the Republican candidates, Mitt Romney, made news over the weekend when he cried on one of the Sunday talk shows. He got choked up when he was talking about how the Mormon church, his church, finally admitted African Americans to be preachers, priests, ministers, deacons, fathers, padres, whatever it's called. In the church there, they let them in the 70s. And no, I don't mean the 1870s, it was the 1970s, and Mitt got all choked up about it, just thinking about the good old days. Actually, what Mitt was really crying about was, well, his falling Iowa poll numbers. And finally, this bit of legal news, the state of New Jersey is going to outlaw capital punishment just as soon as the governor signs the bill, which he has promised to do. The death penalty will be illegal in the state of New Jersey. Lawmakers there figure living in New Jersey is punishment enough. That's The Ointment for another day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Steve Tatham, and that's news. Catch you tomorrow, everybody.